Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for attending this morning to the dedication and the unveiling of Carolyn A. Mason's poem titled Fitchburg. So glad that everybody could make it. I can't think of a better spot in the entire city to place this poem than right here on this small grassy knoll. In this location, a lawnmower can mow right over it. Children that are in the park will walk right over it. I'm sure there'll be people here that'll stand in front of it and read the poem. And there'll be others that'll stand here and have their picture taken with it. But I can guarantee you one thing, when it's unveiled, I think you'll love it. It's just great looking. Before I introduce Mayor DiNatale, who's going to say a few words, I have to really just congratulate him for being here this morning. When I heard that he was going in for surgery, I was kind of, is he even going to be here? If I were him, I'd be resting at home and getting prepared for it. But it says an awful lot, Mayor Natale, that you're here representing the city of Fitchburg. His heart is with us this morning. Mayor DiNatale would like to say a few words.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Peter. First of all, I want everyone to realize how thankful we are as a city for Peter Capadagli. I mean, it's just, this was his initiative. And AJ, Creative Cities is Derek. Thank you for joining us as well. And he had the foresight to commission Creative Cities and come up with the funding for this. And we couldn't be happier. Ms. Mason, has an extraordinarily storied past as being one of the daughters of Fitchburg. She wasn't born and raised here, but most of her life she was here. Very, very involved with publications throughout the country at the time. One in particular was, what was the most famous magazine? The Atlantic Monthly? Atlantic Monthly. So that's pretty impressive stuff. She was well published, wrote a number of poems, some posthumously that were published after her death. But once again, to have Miss Mason in this area, in this park, is truly fitting, because once again, we can point to a number of noteworthy people throughout history that came from the city of Fitchburg. So once again, thank you all for joining us today. And look at Sharon. Isn't she wonderful? Look at, I mean, that's, right? Very much. Thank you. That's right. And I guess, is Peter, you take over. Okay.
I'd like to now introduce Derek Craig, and he's the program director for the Creative Cities Grant. Derek?
Thank you. Thank you. I had to write this down. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a momentous occasion as we stand on the cusp of a cultural revolution in Fitchburg. Our selection for the Creative Cities program and the substantial support we've received through the Dream It Created grant is an acknowledgement of our city's artistic and cultural prowess. As we unveil the Fitchburg Poem Monument dedicated to the remarkable work of Carolyn A. Mason, we honor not only her talent, but also the power of the written word, of art in shaping our community. We bring her words, her vision for Fitchburg to life in a tangible form, amplifying our city's cultural landscape and reminding us all of our deep-rooted, rich heritage. This tribute serves as a testament to the profound influence artists like Mason have on our society, their work becoming the livelihood of our city's identity. Our initiative with the Rock Walk, Rollstone Hill, and now this dedication embodies our commitment to tactile urbanism, to the transformation of public spaces into cultural hubs. We believe that these efforts will stimulate enthusiasm, invite engagement, and make our city a vibrant center for arts and culture. This is more than just a standalone project. Thank you, Peter. Thank you to the Fitchburg Greenway Committee. Thank you to the Boulder Art Gallery. It is part of a larger vision that embraces our history, our landmarks, and our community. It is about preserving our past while paving the way for a dynamic future, and one that fosters local pride, attracts visitors, and invites further investment. Thank you all for your unwavering trust and support in our journey. We look forward to seeing the positive ripples this endeavor will send through our community, enriching Fitchburg with renewed cultural vibrancy. We can't wait to continue this journey and see the impact our collective efforts will have on Fitchburg's cultural landscape. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Derek. Well said. I think it's necessary for me to thank a few people that made this project possible. On top of that list, first and foremost, is Derek Craig and Joe Ferguson of the Creative Cities Grant Program. Without that program in place, this wouldn't even be possible today. But I knew when that program was advertised that it was perfect for this memorial. So it worked out really great. I also want to thank A.J. Tarigny of Fitchburg State University. When we did when we did get the grant, we were just a little short of funds. So A.J. Tarigny was able to find some funds for us through Fitchburg State University to put us over the top. So if you're ever looking for a little extra cash, just see A.J. He knows where to find it. I'd also like to thank Janet Morrison of the Fitchburg Greenway Committee, who helped me write this grant to make this possible. You know, there are some things I'm very good at and some things I'm not. And high on the not good at list is writing grants. So she was able to help us out tremendously there. And also, we simply couldn't put this monument here without first getting permission. So for that, I thank James Burnell. He's here today, the director of the Recreation and Parks Department. So we had to go in front of his board to get permission to even put the monument here. So there's a lot of footwork involved to make this thing happen. Well, it's all about preserving history, isn't it? And where we're standing right now, we're surrounded by it. Over on your right, the little townhouse next to the gallery. That's the Joseph A. Battles haunted house. He was once the street commissioner in the city of Fitchburg. To the left of that was the home of Martha and Sylvester Litchfield. They owned a quarry on Rollstone Hill. And the Litchfield family got together with Fitchburg's famous architect, H.M. Francis, and they were the first people to try to preserve the boulder on top of Rollstone Hill in 1898. To the left of that, the Norcross Townhouse, the home of Fitchburg's first mayor, Amasa Norcross, and Eleanor Norcross, the founder of Fitchburg Art Museum. Going down just a little bit, DeBonis and Davin Florist, the oldest building on Main Street, built in 1796, Fitchburg's second meeting house and second church. Behind that, Crocker Field, a gift to the city in 1919 by Alva Crocker. It's on the historic register of historic places. And going down to the corner, the imposing brownstone building of the Calvinistic Congregational Church, third church on that site, also on the National Register of Historic Places, and designed by, again, Fitchburg's famous architect, H.M. Francis. Behind us, the First Parish Church. Every piece of granite in that building came from Rollstone Hill. Every brick in that building came from the Elijah Goodrich Brickyard on Summer Street. And the very place that we're standing today, look at the fountain and the World War I memorial. Those were done by Fitchburg's famous architect, Henry Herbert Adams. He did over 200 pieces of major artwork that are scattered throughout the world. Fitchburg is lucky enough to have his first and his last right here on the Upper Common. Even where we're standing, was once called Colonel William Brown's woodlot. It was just a woodlot. So the history in this one site is just absolutely amazing. So, today, July 27th, 2023, on Caroline A. Mason's 200th birthday, it's greatly appropriate that we dedicate and unveil this monument in the Upper Common, in the shadow, and within the spirits of all this history. I'd now like to call on Sharon Bernard, the former director of the Fitchburg Public Library, who will read Carolyn Mason's poem from one of her original published books. Sharon?
I'm going to put on my period glasses. Fitchburg. Nested among her hills she lies, the city of our love. Within her pleasant homes arise, and healthful airs and happy skies float peacefully above. A sturdy few, mid hopes and fears, her fair foundation set, and looking backward now, through years of steady gain, how small appears her old estate. And yet, she dons no autocratic airs in scorn of humbler days, but shapes her fortunes and affairs to match the civic wreath she wears and justify her bays. Honor and truth her old renown, conservative of both, the virtues of the little town she holds in legacy to crown the city's larger growth. Nor ease nor sloth her strength despoil, her peaceful farmers till, with patient thrift, the outlying soil, her trained mechanics deftly toil, her merchants ply their skill. Her ponderous engineers supply 1,000 waiting needs. Her wheels revolve, her shuttles fly, and ever where the prize hangs high, her foot unfaltering leads. Her sympathies are large and sweet, and when at freedom's call, the war flags waved, the war drums beat, she sprang responsive to her feet, and freely offered all. Alert in war, she emulates the arts of peace as well. Religion, order, guard her gates. Wealth, culture, thrift, like happy fates, her destinies foretell. So through the round of years she keeps, advancing on her past, her old-time vigor never sleeps, and even as she sows, she reaps. God bless her to the last. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sharon. I'd like to call on Mayor DiNatale to help me unveil the monument. Keep in mind, this was just installed a few days ago, so it's a little rough around the edges, but the grass, I'm sure, will grow in and fill it in nicely in a couple of weeks. Mayor?
Yes.
Come up and take a look at it.
Thanks again to Peter for initiating this and seeing it. Way bigger than I thought. That's some applause for Peter. Thank you.